Hey guys, today I'm going to show you another one of my favorite wrist preps. So in a recent video, I showed you a stretch that I like to use for the whole inner arm, the whole deep and superficial arm lines of fascia. And this is more of a strength builder. So I will, especially if I'm going to teach a class, whether it's a private lesson or a group class that's going to have a lot of weight bearing on the hands, maybe we're working towards handstand, or I have several private clients who really are lacking a lot of strength and mobility in their wrists. These are two things I do with almost everybody with some frequency. So let me show you what it looks like. What we're trying to do in what I call a wrist push-up is really strengthen these muscles of the inner forearm. And there are a few reasons for that. One is, obviously, we're just bearing a lot of weight on our hands when we're doing a yoga practice that uses downward dog as a transition pose. And a lot of people aren't used to using their arms and their forearms and their wrist in that way. So it can be too much. It can really be important to slowly increase the load that people are bearing, the weight bearing that they're doing on their hands, so that we don't weaken or irritate any of the tissue. So for example, for students of mine that have been practicing with me for a long time, I'm more comfortable spending more time on their hands. And for newer students, we do a little bit less. So this is one of the things that I'm sure you guys see a lot in your teaching, is that people, first of all, don't have the range of motion to be in this bend in the first place, which is why the fascial stretch that I showed in the last video, and I'll post it below this one as well, is really challenging. But the other thing is people are so often lacking the strength here. So we see a lot, can you see my hands? Like students who are kind of dumping into their wrist, not using their hands on the floor well, not spreading the work out, and really hanging out in that wrist joint. And I can even feel here that is pretty uncomfortable. So what I like to do is use these wrist push-ups both as a way to strengthen these muscles and also to teach people how to spread the weight out through their hand. So I'll get closer to you. So that they're not just resting all the weight right here, but they're really spreading out, shifting the weight from here through their whole hand and all the way out to their fingertips. So this wrist push-ups are very simple, but I think they serve a couple different really useful benefits. So if I have somebody like this, then I know that this is something I'm going to want to do. So the first thing I try to do is get people to spread out through their hands and shift the weight from the base of the palm to the knuckles and the fingertips. And then the way I teach these is like this. Usually have them do one arm at a time, and it's just a very small lift. Can you see I'm lifting the base of my right palm away from the floor? Not a ton. Just enough to feel those muscles contract and feel what it feels like to shift the weight away from the base of my palm and my wrist out to my knuckles and to my fingertips. So it's really a weight shift first. This is going to be hard to see, but right now I've got a lot of the weight in my wrist, and then I move the weight forward to my knuckles and my fingers and my fingertips, and already it makes my wrist feel better. So again, I'll do it in both hands so you can see. It's subtle. Right now I'm just dumping my weight into my wrist, and now I'm spreading the work out through my hands, and it kind of organizes my shoulders differently as well. So have people lift the base of the palm up without bending the elbow, without collapsing. Another thing people do when I have them do just one side at a time is they just shift all their weight over to the other hand, which makes it easier, of course. So what I try to have people do, and I'll show you on the other side, keep both shoulders over the wrist, keep the weight moving from the base of the palm to the knuckles and to the fingertips. Of course, stay easy in the neck and the jaw, and then contract the muscle in the back of the forearm and lift the wrist up. And I'll have people do 5 on one side, and then 5 on the other. And if they're ready for it, then we do up to 10 with both hands moving at the same time. And go slow. Have people inhale to lift up and exhale to lower down. And inhale to lift up. This is so hard, you guys. And exhale to lower down. Now, because it's hard, what a lot of people will do is they'll use momentum. Pop, pop, and lift it up way too high. Pop. And I don't want them to do that at all. So I say, just keep it so small, even if I can't actually see it move. if they have the intention to just lift this part away from the floor and shift the weight to the knuckles and the fingers and the fingertips, these muscles will start to contract. So that's the exercise. 5 wrist push-ups, up to 5 on one hand, up to 5 on the other, up to 10 on both. Smaller is better, so not this. And I'll show you from the side too so you can see. It's not this, it's this. Very tiny weight shift, contracting the muscles of the inner forearm. And my students have been doing that for about 6 months. I probably started doing this maybe closer to a year. And everybody reports that they feel so much stronger in their inner forearm. They have no discomfort in their wrist after a long asana practice, and that in general they're feeling healthier and stronger and more mobile in their wrists. So I'm super excited about that, and I highly recommend you try this, private clients and group classes alike, and let me know what questions you have and how it goes. Bye for now.